A bone-chilling cold, unlike anything Violet had ever felt, seeped into her skin. Her steps down the empty hallway were heavy and robotic, as if her body wasn't her own. Nothing made sense. Her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, colliding with waves in a furious storm. It felt like the world had been knocked off its axis, and she was desperately trying to find her balance. Her gut had always warned her about Asher, and now she knew she should have listened. "You, my purple queen, will take Autumn's place." Asher's words echoed in her mind, a haunting refrain on repeat. It was terrifying. At first, she thought he was joking, just another one of his twisted games to get a rise out of her. But the dark, intense look in his eyes had told a different story. A deadly, serious one. "You're crazy!" she yelled, shoving him away and running. She hadn't looked back. She didn't care. What was wrong with him? What did she mean, take Autumn's place? Autumn was the one chosen by the Alpha King. Taking her place meant challenging the Alpha King himself, a suicidal move. Violet, despite her recklessness, valued her life. There was no way she was going along with Asher's insane plan. Her first instinct was to run, to escape Linares and Asher's madness. But not now, not in broad daylight when his spies were likely everywhere. Asher had made it perfectly clear he wasn't letting her go anytime soon. Violet shuddered, imagining what he'd do if he caught her trying to leave. Running wasn't an option, not yet. She had to be smart and strategic, no mistakes. She needed a plan, a way to stay safe until she could escape for good, without a trace. Lost in thought, Violet wandered aimlessly for what felt like hours. When she finally snapped out of it, the hallway was deserted, and she'd missed half of the class. But she couldn't avoid class forever, no matter how shaken she felt. Taking a deep breath, Violet steeled herself and headed toward the classroom. The teacher would probably dock points, maybe even give her a detention. But that was nothing compared to whatever Asher had planned. Suddenly, someone stepped out from a corner, blocking her path. It was Griffin Hale. A chill shot down Violet's spine. The blood drained from her face. Of all people, just her luck. Griffin didn't move. His gaze stayed locked on her. An unsettling realization hit Violet. This wasn't a coincidence. Griffin Hale had been waiting for her. Oh, God. Without a word, Violet spun around, ready to bolt in the opposite direction, but she crashed right into someone. Stumbling back, she looked up to see who it was, and her heart jumped when she met Alaric Storm's eyes. For a second, Violet felt a wave of relief. Alaric had always seemed the least threatening of the Cardinal Alphas. Maybe, just maybe, he'd help her. But then she remembered Alaric and Griffin were best friends, just like Asher and Roman. It clicked. Alaric wasn't there to save her. He was there to make sure she didn't escape. Her life sucked. Their eyes met for a split second, and he knew exactly what she was thinking. Violet's fight or flight instincts kicked in. She tried to dart to the side, but Alaric was quick, wrapping an arm tightly around her waist. "No! Let me go!" Violet screamed, fighting him with everything she had, twisting and squirming. But Alaric was strong, incredibly strong, and he pulled her back, holding her tight against his chest. She could feel how tense he was, his grip like iron. Without a second thought, Violet whipped her head back hard. It connected with Alaric's face, smacking his nose with a satisfying crack. He yelped, his grip loosening for a split second, giving her a chance to break free. Violet didn't waste any time. She pulled away, spinning and slamming her elbow into his stomach for good measure. Feeling him double over in pain, she was free, but only for a few seconds. Violet managed 2 desperate steps before hands grabbed her shoulders, and then she was lifted off the ground. A surprised yell escaped her as Griffin Hale tossed her over his shoulder like she weighed nothing. The world flipped upside down, her stomach lurching as she landed hard against his broad back. The impact knocked the wind out of her, and she groaned, wincing. Put me down! Let me go! Her screams echoed down the hallway. She kicked and thrashed, pounding her fists against Griffin's back, but he didn't even flinch. Instead, his arm tightened around her legs, holding her securely as he walked on. Panic clawed at Violet's insides. She was completely powerless against him. Her cries for help went unanswered. The hallway was empty, and any hope of rescue was fading fast. Griffin pushed through a door, hauling Violet into an empty classroom. She heard the heavy doors slam shut behind them, the sound bouncing off the walls like the final nail in her coffin. Alaric followed, his nose bleeding slightly, his face a mix of anger and annoyance. Before Violet could get her bearings, Griffin sat her down on one of the desks, his shadow falling over her as he loomed like a giant. Violet froze in terror, her heart hammering in her chest. The heat coming off Griffin was suffocating as he stood between her legs, way too close for comfort. She could barely breathe. A cruel smile spread across his lips. Finally, I've got you, Purplehead. You don't know how hard it's been to catch you without Asher getting in my way. Violet's eyes went wide, fear closing her throat. Wait, what? Why? She hadn't done anything to provoke him since yesterday. Not on purpose, anyway. Except for the fact that Asher had punched his pack member. Because of her, she was in serious trouble. Tears sprang to her eyes from the sharp pain, and she cried out. Who the heck are you? And what does Asher want with you? Griffin growled, his voice a low, menacing rumble in Violet's ears. I don't know. Violet's voice cracked. The pain made her eyes water. Griffin didn't buy it. His face hardened, and his grip on her hair tightened, pulling her head back and exposing her neck. He spat, his breath hot against her ear. I know that, Asher, and the fact that he's interested in you can't be good. So tell me, what's he planning? Violet swallowed hard, her mind racing. She couldn't tell him the truth. The thought sent a shiver down her spine. There was no way she was letting Griffin know Asher planned to use her to challenge the Alpha King. Griffin would freak. He'd probably kill her right there. And no one would care. No one would even miss her. Except maybe Nancy, who'd probably cry over all the money she'd wasted on Violet. She was an orphan after all. Justice for orphans? Yeah, right. She had to play it smart. Griffin shook her roughly, jerking her head back. I said talk, he yelled. I swear, I don't know. He just hangs around me, calls me his purple queen, that's all. She lied, trying to sound believable, her heart pounding as she glared back at him.
To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.